Alright, we're back for another episode. This one, celebrating Memorial Day.
A very special day in history! Celebrate our troops.
Absolutely. My grandfather was a troop. How about yours?
My great-grandfather and... my great-grandfather, yeah. Great-grandfather, yeah.
This episode we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to salute the weapons of World War II, whether it be Axis or Allied forces.
Some of everything, yeah. Why not?
Just a little bit. We're going to go ahead and start with one of my favorites, the MP40. Known to the Allied forces as the Schmeiser, for the original designer of the MP18. This was a gun that was brought into development in 1938, but actually produced in 1940 through 45.
Right. Very early on in the war, in the case of the European front.
Absolutely. Now this one is made by AGM. It's a very good representation of the gun from the war. Very solid. It's got a plastic grip and lower, just like the real thing would have. The folding stock works really simple. Metal, really well made.
Very sturdy.
And the mag release is really quick and easy to use as well. It's a 200-round magazine, high cap. So it'll work out really well for anyone that's doing World War II reenactments, especially.
Very well done on the outside.
Absolutely. Now there are a couple little quirks about it. It does have a hop-up adjustment, which is right here. I'll pull the charging handle back. Stays back so that your hop-up access is easily open.
Notice how it doesn't move anywhere else? Because there is no actual return on that charging handle?
It's back or it's forward.
Yeah, there's a big hole in there. It's
a little different. The other interesting thing about it, there's no safety on this gun.
Nah, back in those days, nobody gave a shit.
What there is, though, is there is an on-off switch on the bottom of the pistol grip. So if you get one of these and you're like, what's going on? I can't figure out how to use it. Most likely there's a power button on the bottom that you forgot to turn on.
Back in those days, they had boxes with handles and magazines, and you just pull the trigger.
Exactly. Overall, it's actually a pretty heavyweight gun. I'm really impressed with the weight of it. So it's got a lot of metal to it. The only thing I'm not really happy about is the battery installation.
Yeah, that was... some guns are not fun in that arena, and this is one of them.
So, I'll have Cypher help me out with this, because it's not the easiest battery installation.
What are you talking about? Are you insane?
First, you have to have the stock extended. And there is a little pull lever here on the bottom. You pull... Okay, Cypher, if you pull the barrel assembly up...
This part?
Yeah.
This whole
Just
section
pull,
here?
yeah.
This whole section comes off.
Yeah.
Bam!
So, now you have the barrel assembly. Now, the hop-up and barrel assembly, inner barrel, is all inside there. Your gearbox, which is the same gearbox that would be in a P90, as you can see.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different. You're not going to find your typical equipment like for an M4 in it, obviously.
Yeah, the motor sends all the way backwards instead of towards down the handle.
So you see your motor there, and there's your standard gearbox. Now, this is your selector switch here for semi-auto and full auto. You can see it lines up with its tap-in
Only
plate.
semi and only auto. No safety.
Exactly. The small connector is right here, and you can typically only use the standard small type. Very hard to fit anything else in there. It comes with a 8.4 small type.
Little standard 7
1100 milliamp. Fits right in there, and then you connect it right there. So keep in mind, if you get one of these, you can't figure out how it installs. That's how it installs. And don't freak out when you have to reassemble your gun.
Yeah, that part I'm not too fond of, especially because it disconnects the entire hop-up assembly and the nozzle and everything from the front end.
And it's not always the easiest thing to reinstall if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. That's the back.
Hey, it's reinstalled. I'm done.
Okay.
Let's get into how your gun's battery installs.
Oh, shut up.
Overall, I'm really impressed. I've always liked this gun. It's been one of my favorites since it first came out. AGM did a really good job with producing it. Now, some of you are probably wondering, there's another variant of it that has a wood grain look to it. That is actually, it's still called an MP40, but it's based off the MP41.
It's the original design concept. There was only two, I believe only two variants, and that was the wood, and the other version which had Bakelite, which is an older form of plastic, a fibrous plastic they used for the grip and the side.
So basically the original ABS.
Right. Before we had ABS and also fancy plastics, they had Bakelite. Very lightweight material that was pretty sturdy, but kind of not shatterproof.
And typically now, if you see it, it's probably faded brown.
Or it's an antique or broken.
Yeah, pretty much.
Originally used in the AR-15 or AR-15, yeah, AR-15.
Now, they also have a couple sling points. You have a sling point here in the rear of the receiver, and one here on the front end of the receiver before the barrel comes in. Now, it does have iron sights in the front and rear. Non-adjustable, though. Pretty comfortable with the stock. Overall, it's pretty easy to function and fit up. But why don't you go into your gun here, and we'll get onto the testing afterwards.
Okay.
All right, Cyphre, so what about your gun?
Welcome to the next segment. This is on the very American version, the M3 Grease Gun. This is actually the M3A1 Grease Gun, the variant that produced at the very, very end of the war, unfortunately. This gun was originally designed back in 1942 by General Motors, as a matter of fact. The engineer of their inland manufacturing, and produced by Guidelamp, was a division of GM at the time, which, pretty much all companies produced guns back then, because they need a lot of guns.
Oh, hell, in Japan, Mitsubishi produced guns and planes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why not? Distinctive the nature of this gun is that they wanted to replace the Thompson because they needed something cheaper to produce and faster to produce. And the Thompson was a big chunk of machine precision material, and it was really hard to produce and really expensive. So they're like, hey!
Don't get me wrong, I love the Thompson.
Oh, it was an amazing gun, and it was the most prevalent gun in the war. This, unfortunately, they had some hiccups in the development, so the concept was 1942, but over the development cycle there were changes in specifications, so it was only deployed in 1944.
Wow.
And even in 1944, at the end of 1944, there was developed the A1 variant, which had all the improvements like this guard around the mag release, stuff like that, because there were a lot of problems, as with most guns anyway. This is also a really dangerous gun back then.
Yeah.
Okay, this had no safety and had no selector switch. It was rock and roll all the time.
Which ICS, who manufactured this, has done a pretty good job of replicating that.
It works pretty good that way. It was an open bolt design too, so it was supposed to say the only safety that existed was this flap and a little notch that was stuck in here and it held the bolt back. So and actually was even used in the Korean War and quite a few other places.
Yeah, there's a couple small little.
Well, later, it was actually produced in about 8 other countries, I believe. But production didn't reach that far because it was the end of the war, so only about 622,000 were actually ever made, versus 1.5 million Thompson submachine guns at the time. So it was never really that prevalent, and really kind of late in the game. This is ICS's version. It's pretty well built. It's got ICS's trademark build quality. I mean, it's still nice. The nice, I believe it's a steel stock. I don't know. It looks like it's welded and authentic. It is extendable with a nice little notch there. Sling points, non-adjustable sights. Very, very non-adjustable sights. A little pinhole in the back.
Wonderful standard iron sights.
Exactly.
Now, one thing this does have is with most ICS guns is it does have the spring release.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice feature. There's no semi-auto, so you can't reset the spring. So you just pull this back, like I just did right there, actually did right now, and it unhinges the spring. And then you just reset it this way. But actually, I shouldn't do that. Sorry. This has to be open to fire it. Do not do that. This just actually opens the hatch for the hop up.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then push the bolt in.
Which, as you saw in our Zombie Killer episode, that's a nice design.
Yeah, it's a nice feature to have that. But that was the original charging handle, which was also one of the other problematic features of the original gun. But yeah, it was interesting. The only real problem I found with this gun is this mag release. And this mag it's very tight and very loose at the same time. It's kind of a pain in the ass to get in there reliably and get back out again.
Right. Now,
there's not a lot of grip on it because you got to hold it this far down, and the mag release is up here, which is, it's kind of hard to manipulate it that way.
Yeah. Now, this is not gonna, just like the AGM MP40. This I wouldn't recommend to be a fielded gameplay gun.
Great for reenactment.
Good for reenactment. Any World War II reenactors are gonna love these guns.
Or a prop gun.
Absolutely. You're doing a World War II movie. You're going to do another YouTube movie. You want World War II themes? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I really don't like this tip either. What they did is they create a plastic tip that doesn't go over top the barrel. It actually takes a part of the barrel with it. So if you pop this off, it's got a little step in it. Kind of a pain in the ass. I really don't like that part. Nah, not at all.
Thank you, ICS.
Yay! ICS's trademark design implementations of random crap we didn't ask for.
Now, as you can see, it does have a distinctive design, and there's a reason they call it a grease gun. If any of you have ever worked in the automotive industry, you'll probably think he's holding a grease gun.
Gee, we stick a tip in a nub on most vehicles,
Like a
oil or
ball
grease.
joint, or
yeah, just stick it in there, and that's pretty much where that design came from.
and think about it. General Motors designed it.
Yeah.
No wonder it's a grease gun.
Pretty hilarious.
Absolutely.
Or the greaser, as they call it too, also.
Yeah. Now, one of the next things we're going to do, we are going to get these in the range so you can see the...
Let's show the battery here, too.
Oh, yeah, the battery...
The battery comes in this little tiny hole in the back. I'm like, okay, so that's nice. It fits in a very compact space. You don't have to open the body up. But, of course, this is a much worse way.
Now, I've gone ahead and I've worked with this a few times. You're not going to be able to fit a small type. You're not even going to be able to fit a nunchuck in there.
Yeah.
You're actually going to need to remove the actual stock off.
Oh. Okay. Stock pops right off.
Yeah,
Pretty easy
so it's
anyway,
really
at
easy.
least.
You're going to get this, what I'm jokingly referencing as the Halo battery. And you have to piece it in a piece at a time. It's not something that's going to fit extremely easily. It's
Kind of a retarded nunchuck.
Yeah, drop the mag out.
Oh.
So, you want to put one cell in first.
Because your lip around the edge, so you got to fit one in and inside, the next in and the inside. It takes a little bit of finagling.
Yeah, just a little. And you have to
I shouldn't waste the entire video for this.
No, probably not, but I've almost got it, so... Anyways, you get the idea.
Yeah, whatever.
It's
anyway.
a pain. For the usage of the video, you don't need to have it installed. We're just going to show it.
I mean, I expect this for most small guns. It's a massive pain in the ass to take batteries, especially like MP5s, the handguard batteries.
Right.
That makes it look like, I mean, that looks like godsend to have a handguard batteries for pain in the ass. This is just ridiculous.
Like, couldn't they have made that opening a little wider or made a trap door here?
Or like use this grip or something? I don't know.
because there's no motor in here.
Nothing.
This doesn't even have a motor adjustment, so if you get it winding and grinding, good luck.
Yeah, it's an ICS. One of the trademarks of ICS is it's not compatible with anything else.
And the other thing is, I mean, it has this low receiver cover that comes off. They could have put the battery in there.
Yeah, or extended that somehow.
Exactly. So
But
there's a lot of options they could have done, but they didn't.
really, really massive. I mean, maybe this is like 100% accurate in scale or something ridiculous like that, which is why this battery is so ridiculous, but it's not even usable, traditionally speaking, unless you want to like run this wire out onto a carrier or rig or something, then maybe you got a chance.
Probably run a 7.4 LiPo in it.
Yeah.
Just make it run like crazy.
Yeah, what do I do in there? I wonder.
A LiPo would, but
Pretty
I wouldn't
small
recommend it.
Well, okay, yeah, but I mean, the hole is small.
Yeah.
Really got
They
it.
do make small enough hole LiPos to fit in there, but it's long enough where you could fit a LiPo stick to fit about to there.
No, probably not. Oh, in the top maybe?
Yeah.
Because these cells, this is the total length you have. Not this plus half a cell, like a small type.
Like
not this
that.
plus a whole cell, like a regular nunchuck. It's this, and like this little retarded piece that's just on top. It's like
So-
dur-dur-dur.
Now that battery does come with this gun.
Yeah.
You don't have to go seeking it out. It will come.
It's a pretty nice battery too.
Yeah, they did a really well job.
1600 mAh Tenergy, which is a pretty good brand of batteries.
Yeah, they did a really good job sourcing it out and making them. So it's a great quality battery. It's just I don't want to install it.
Yeah.
Once you do install it, I wouldn't recommend taking it out to charge it. Just connect and charge there.
Yeah, just pull the wire out and then charge it that way.
That's probably going to be your
Not
best bet.
screw with it any longer than that.
Hopefully your charger doesn't make it too hot because it is a plastic body.
Yeah, there's some metal parts, but
Some, yeah.
it is pretty much plastic. The flaps metal, you know.
Yeah. The charging handle's metal, so I mean overall it's a nice gun, but
Externals are Usage is
again, it's good for
Reenactment.
uses, not for everyday use on the field.
Not for skirmishes or long events that you plan to use it on.
Unless it's a World War II reenactment.
I'd use it as a backup gun.
Exactly.
I'd say my Car 98 and that like on the, or whatever other gun I'd use.
We'll leave it at your camp.
Exactly.
Run back if you have to.
Well, I mean, it's got strap loops, so you just like strap it over you and leave it in your back.
Definitely. So why don't we go ahead and get these, get the batteries installed for one.
Yeah, we'll be back in an hour.
And we'll get this loaded up so we can go ahead and give you the FPS and rate of fire on this thing, as well as the MP40. Okay, so here is now mind you, the gun does not have semi-auto, full auto only. So we're going to attempt for feet per second. Alright, so now we're just going to go for rate of fire. Alright, so this is the MP40 on semi-auto.
Using the same battery.
Yeah, I'm using the same 9.6. And we're going to switch to full rock and roll. Alright, so we had a successful run downfield. Both guns performed admirably, I'd say. Both of them had about a 16.6 on the rate of fire.
Yeah, using the same battery, I would expect about the same performance, so we're roughly talking about the same motor.
Yeah, it's a similar setup, the same gearbox, essentially. I mean, same exact lineup, so...
Just like the real one, except this gun in the rear still was 45! That wasn't a 9mm.
Yeah, well... now, the FPS was very similar, too. I think this topped out about 366. That one...
I was going 340. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
This is about 350, that's about 340. Generally the same.
Generally the same.
About 350 here.
Now, if you look on both guns, I mean, you can't really see it, but in the tip, the barrel does come exactly to the tip. So
yeah, so really a shiny tip on there.
Yeah, so you can see the inner barrel comes all the way to the end. On my gun, I'm going to go ahead and give this I'd say a 7 out of 10, just because due to the complexity of installing the battery.
Yeah, this late in the game, there have been, I want to say, at least 5 different companies who have made the MP40. Whether it was Tops, I believe Aries or someone makes one recently.
One, yeah, as well.
And someone else I can't recall. And theirs were at least usable in a different way and not so shitty
this one, I mean, you literally have to split the gun into 2 pieces to put the battery in. Not the easiest construction.
In general, that's bad because it's disconnecting the nozzle from the hop-up, and that's not something you want to expose at all, ever, unless you're disassembling the gun itself.
And to clean the hop-up or lubricate it.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I did like about it is with that charging handle, it does make it easy access to the hop-up. However, the charging handle doesn't retract at all. It's all manual.
Yeah, that's kind of cheap. Does it lock in place or something, too?
No, it just stays there.
Doesn't push it?
Doesn't move at all.
Okay. So there's no, technically speaking, there's a notch on the back and the front of the actual gun, and that you
right,
lock
you can
it
lock it
back
in place. The other thing that's awkward is the on-off switch on the base of the pistol grip. Something I've never seen before, because the motor doesn't even go in here. So the motor is lined up right here. That means I have to run the wires down to a switch and back up to the motor off of the battery.
So if you accidentally disconnect the wire, and you don't know where your gun's working, it'll be a little confusing.
Exactly.
A little bit.
So, like I said, on this gun, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7.
Okay.
What was the cost of these things again?
This one is roughly around 150.
I give that a 6. Cost is a big deal to me, okay?
Yeah.
Cost is a big deal. And that gun is, it is an AEG, so they're all pretty much identically the same internally speaking, so it runs the same as everything else, but battery placement and magazines are not preferable unless you're doing the reactive thing.
I do have an amendment to this. This is no longer a high cap magazine.
Yes.
I found out this is actually a standard cap.
Poof, it disappeared, alright, yeah.
We're probably looking at about a 75 round mid cap.
Mid cap, okay.
So,
pretty typical for Chinese. This one ran pretty good. Ran with the same motor, probably the same motor from the same manufacturer. About that.
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
Still ran 350. Externals are still pretty good. They still have some steel parts. This is steel. You can tuning fork.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's a pretty good replica, but there really are downfalls to using this magazine release, especially. Real pain in the ass.
Now this gun does have a high cap magazine, so it is about 200 rounds.
Yeah. Standard winder on the bottom.
And I mean, this one has the same type of hop-up system. So you open
This is at least a little nicer because it's got a big fat wheel in there for the hop up, and this thing locks back, and this disconnects the spring.
The spring, right?
Detention, or whatever you want to call it. Which is nice because there's no semi, so you can't really do it any other way.
Yeah.
But it does fire really, really fast. Really, really good overall. Really compact too. So throw a strap on there, throw it in your back, and get yourself a little backup gun in your
Exactly.
2 games.
Now, one thing that did it for me, that just blew my feeling on this gun, is the battery installation. Again, probably took us 20 minutes to get the battery in just to do the FPS test. Now, I know most people are saying, why didn't you just hang the battery out the back? Well, we wanted to make sure we get a true feeling of what the gun's going to perform like.
It is balanced out a little bit too. I think the front end right now is pretty heavy. That's the entire gearbox is up front right here, and with the battery it adds a little bit of weight in the back, so it's a little more balanced too with the battery in the back. But they could have done a lot better. I mean, some way they could have done better. Same with that gun. There have been other companies who have made this before. Who made this gun too? Someone made it the same thing with the battery and the magazine and stuff like that. So
I think that was Ares as well.
Ares, yeah. And
they do a lot of
much more interesting designs out there than this, and this ran
240.
240. Okay, well, them's dangerous territories. I'm gonna have to rate this the same as the other gun. I'm 7 or 6.
7 or 6. I'm at about a 7 for me as well. I mean, the thing is, at least this one comes with a decent 9.6 battery.
Yeah, very nice battery.
The Halo battery, mind you. Which you can't buy anywhere else. You may have to go to places like batteryspace.com or allbatteries.com and have them make you a custom setup if your battery dies. Because you're not going to fit an 8.4 nunchuck in there. You're not going to fit a 9.6.
The only other way is if you ran a shoulder strap from the rig here and then just ran the battery to a battery bag on the strap, which probably would be the much better solution entirely.
Or if you just disassemble the gun, split it open, and put the battery in yourself.
What?
If you split the body open, you can put the battery in, but the battery's never coming out.
Yeah, that'd be really an idea. Split the whole gun in half.
Well, that's how you fully
put it back together again.
Now, both guns come with quite a few amenities from the manufacturer. They both come with full manuals. The ICS even comes with a DVD manual, which is nice.
Yeah, I was like, wow. Finally stepping out of the world. Paperless menus.
The ICS comes in a full color box, which you'll see a picture of it throughout the episode.
It's quite nice. Very fancy box.
Yeah. The MP40 plain brown styrofoam tray.
Yeah.
They both come with battery and charger, so that's a great feature.
Did it?
Yeah. They both come. Yeah.
I don't think it did.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. You crazy.
Halo batteries included.
Yeah. They both use small type Tamiya connectors, so it's pretty standard.
Yeah, it's pretty standard equipment.
For that
if you have another gun out there, you probably have a charger.
Yeah, you probably already have a charger, and you probably have a battery that won't fit this gun or that gun. It's cool though. It's cool. Yeah.
But overall, I guess 7 out of 10 on both.
7, yeah.
6.5. We'll go 6.5 on both.
Yeah, 6.5 is probably about where it's going to come to because of that price range.
Yeah,
it's not really an all metal design. I mean, for a Chinese manufacturer. For AGM, they could have done this whole thing in stamped steel, no problem.
Exactly. If
it came from WE Tech, it'd probably be actual steel, and it would cost the same.
And it would probably be gas powered.
Yeah, it'd be gas and freaking awesome. But yeah, that was kind of disgusting.
Well, either way, so 6.5 for both. So
good for reenactors, though. Amazing.
Absolutely, amazing.
Very well done.
True to life.
And works. You know, it's not like the old-fashioned top systems which are a pain in the ass to use and. They look pretty good. Yeah, they feel pretty good as far as what they are. Now, we did pick both these up over at Airsplat. They did take care of us as usual. Check for the links in them below so you can find where to locate them. As for always, I'm Dean Donovan. This is Cyphre. It's been another episode. Remember, Airsoft is not a crime. Play hard. Play safe.